This is so awkward. I hate doing this. Dang it, I already messed up. What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we got another request and this is how I design training programs. So before we get started, if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We post new videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays, so make sure you subscribe to catch all of them. So when it comes to designing training programs, a lot goes into it, but it can also be relatively simple. So every single program is person specific. As you see, number one, based on someone's age, their history, if they've been injured, something's nagging them a lot, if they're an athlete, what sport they play, because each sport has different requirements for designing training programs. So another big thing also is like a preference. Not everybody likes to train the exact same way. The people that I train, they all enjoy different styles. So before I even get into programming exercises, I kind of have a skeleton mapped out of the different preferences people like and programs that I can plug things into that'll be beneficial for people, hit all the areas I want to hit, but also make it enjoyable for them. So once I get all that out of the way, the specifics of each person, I'll move on to mobility and corrective exercises. So I always start with the warm-up, usually a dynamic warm-up, and then I'll throw in 2, maybe 3 mobility and corrective exercises. So if I know someone sits at their desk all day, I'll do a lot of stuff to open up the hip flexors, get the glutes and hamstrings loosened. If they're on their computer a lot, we'll do a lot of pulling exercises like band pull-aparts. When you're on your computer, you're kind of hunched over, so you want to open up your spine, get your shoulders expanded a little bit. And then when it comes to corrective exercises, this is going to be for people with injuries or athletes, things to kind of correct something that's wrong, try to fix an imbalance if there are imbalances. Like if we look at a pitcher, for example, for baseball, usually there's a massive imbalance because they're always using one side of their body. So we'll do some corrective exercises, usually after the warm-up, before we get going into the actual strength program. Next up, you see plyos, change of direction, agility, acceleration, all of that stuff. There is an asterisk there because this I usually just do for certain people. All athletes do this, and then some just of the general population, if they enjoy doing plyos and this type of training, then I will for sure throw it in. It's important for everybody, in my opinion, to be doing plyos and just movement like this, but not everybody likes to do it. So my athletes always do either jump training, acceleration, agility, top speed, one of those things, just to make sure that we're getting that in. That's a huge part of sports. After plyos and all that agility type of stuff, we're gonna move on to power and high energy exercises. So these are at the top before we get into heavy strength because they require the most energy and they're the most technical. So this is gonna be if I'm working on sprints with someone, trying to decrease their sprint time, if we're doing like hang cleans, trap bar high pulse, anything that's explosive in nature that requires a high amount of central nervous system stimulation, that goes before our heavy strength, merely because, if we do it at the end, we don't have the awareness, we don't have the energy to perform as powerful as possible. And exercises that fall into this category, you need to make sure that you have as much energy to hit them powerfully because they are power exercises. So if you just kind of half-ass them, you're not able to get full explosive, then you're not going to get the biggest bang for your buck. So after that in the program, we move on to heavy strength. Usually one of the good things about heavy strength is after power, we're pretty much warmed up, all of our muscles are ready to go, the connective tissue. So when we hit strength, it's less of a shock to the body. Now I always include some type of heavy strength, especially for athletes and for most general population. I'm not one to do high volume like reps of 10, 15, 20, especially in this category right here for heavy strength. I think it's important to lift some load. It's really good for your connective tissue, your muscles, get that adaptation going. That's going to produce benefits later on. And building strength is extremely important for all people for many, many reasons. So I make sure to hit some heavy strength in there. And then after that, follow it up with some auxiliary movements. Oh, real quickly, so next to strength, it says complex or contrast. If you guys watch my videos, you're gonna see I love complex training, contrast training, any method like that, French contrast. I've made many videos on them, but I will incorporate that in the top of the program by heavy strength. So basically that's just a heavy strength move followed by a power or explosive move of the same musculature. I keep that at the top for the exact same reason I have power and heavy strength at the top, right? High CNS, central nervous system stimulation, high energy. You want the hardest stuff, the stuff that is the most technical at the top of your program before you get tired. So then we're gonna move on to auxiliary movements. So it depends how I program, if I'm doing like all lower body one day, all upper, full body, but just generally speaking, you wanna hit auxiliary movements that hit all of the movement patterns. So like a vertical push, horizontal push, vertical pull, horizontal pull, and then lower body, I do a hinge, a squat of some sort, and then also really big unilateral training. You want to make sure you're hitting all of these different things. You don't have to hit every single one every day you're training. Sometimes if I'm training somebody multiple times a week, I'll have a vertical push-pull day and then a horizontal push-pull day. But as long as your training programs hit every movement, because if we're just lifting in one plane the whole time, we're missing out on the stuff on all the other planes. So it's really important we're moving our muscles everywhere with resistance. And then unilateral training, I've talked about this a bunch earlier on. Super important for athletes, for general population. Everybody needs to be doing unilateral training. I'm not gonna get into why in this video, but just make sure it's in your programs. After that, I always add core at the end of my workouts. So if you've done some of the programs I've put out on video before, you'll notice that your core is active through everything. If we do unilateral, if we do like a single arm row or a single arm landmine press, everything I do has core factored in, but I do like to end with a couple core exercises. I just love doing abs, so I like to put that at the end. Most people I program for enjoy it as well. It's just a mental thing, knowing you isolated your abs at the end. Although there's been multiple studies that show complex movements or compound movements activate your core better than isolated movements, it's a mental thing, and that's a huge part of working out. And plus it's just fun, in my opinion, to throw in some really hard stuff that people can do on their own if they're just chilling at their house. Last thing is cardio, and you're gonna see another asterisk right next to that. I don't think I program cardio for anybody I train right now, because that's not necessarily what I do. I like to do strength and conditioning, so all of that movement combined. We'll get some cardio. We do a lot of med ball, a lot of sled stuff. So you get cardio in the middle, and you can change how you program, limit rest, like that type of stuff to really get the effect you're going for. I am not a fan of just having people go out and run, no treadmill, no elliptical. I don't see the benefit in that for the people I train. Because of the way I do train, they don't need to do that. But some people like to hit the treadmill at the end, or they like to go on runs, ride a Peloton, whatever it is. That always will go at the end because I do not want people being tired, taking away from the strength portion of the program. So hopefully this was helpful. If you guys have any other questions or any other video requests, drop it in the comments below. I'll get back to you. I'll push out a video for whatever you guys want. So like I said, if you enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.